You're on the line with Mr. Oaks. Who are we speaking with?
This is Maria.
What's going on, Maria?
I am stuck in traffic right now. I'm trying to make it home to get Mike on the phone with us as well. So you'll have to bear with me.
No problem, no problem. Stuck in traffic. What a way to do an interview. Kill some time there.
No, I'm in Los Angeles, and pretty much you're always stuck in traffic in Los Angeles. I thought I had enough time, but forget about it. These cars say no.
They don't ever advertise that in those California commercials that I always see with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, everybody's all relaxed and on the beach, and it's fabulous. No, the real LA is where you're literally just stuck in traffic for hours on end.
Wow, awesome. I will have to reschedule my planned trip out to the West Coast then.
If you come out here, literally you just have to get in town and stay somewhere and be near the beach and just walk anywhere you can.
All right, sound device, it seems like. Maybe like a la New York, possibly. But what's going on with you? How'd you spend your Memorial weekend there? Did you get to relax and hang out, or was it a business weekend for you?
Yesterday, me and Mike actually laid out by the pool all day. We made sandwiches and just relaxed. It was very nice.
Nice. Sounds like a day of the Caribbean Playboy here over Mr. Shane Howard would be enjoying down there in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, is California where you guys reside?
Yeah, my house is out in L.A.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Well, I mean, we understand that you're in traffic and all, but at least we could ask some of the questions that people have asked pertaining to you.
Yes, and then by the time I get home, hopefully, we'll have gone through my questions and we can go to the other question.
All right. Okay. Well, Darius, go right ahead, and then when you're done, I got some questions on Twitter and all that.
Okay. Fair enough here. Now, for those who don't know, we're gonna fast forward here through your illustrious career here. You're now the first lady of ROH. Out of all the places in the world, you could have stopped off. You had your suitors, I imagine. Why ROH?
I've always been a fan. I think that the wrestling's amazing. The guys are wonderful. They're some of the hardest working wrestlers I've ever worked with. And it's one of those places that it's a niche. A lot of the greatest wrestlers in the world have came from there and continue to be on TV and be great wrestlers. But I had saw it a long time ago, and I loved it then, and I love it even more now.
Well, let's talk about that because we've spoken with your newfound friend, Miss Jessica Havoc. She spoke to us about I don't know if you call it a seminar or what have you, where she interacted with you, but before that she had a different impression of you. You kind of changed her whole impression. She came out, she said that, she had no respect for you coming into that, and you flipped that once, meeting her and she got to know you. You're a fan of pro wrestling first and foremost, and you grew up watching the sport?
What'd you say? I didn't hear the last part.
Yeah, she thought that you were just a Diva Search girl. And by the end of the conversation that y'all had, you flipped everything, and she realized you had a lot of respect and a lot of love for the business. Tell us, growing up, I'm assuming you were a big wrestling fan.
I was. It's funny. There's a story, and I just recently told Matt and Jeff about it, but I flashed them in Rockford, Illinois, when I went to a wrestling show. I've been a wrestling fan since I was little. I used to love Roddy Piper, basically because of Piper's pit. When I was in the Diva search, I called Jonathan Coachman a popcorn fart because that's what Rock called him, so I thought that would be okay for me to call him as well. He proceeded to send me right on to the next round of the Diva search. I have so much respect for the wrestlers and even more respect for women's wrestling because it's something that a lot of times is overlooked. And women's wrestling has been around for a long time. It used to be in the circuses. I got to sit down with Killam Gillam's family and talk with them about what their mom was like. And I love women's wrestling. I've never been fantastic in the ring. I'm the first one to admit it, but I can tell you so much about how to be a star, and that's what that seminar ended up being. When he first said you're going to give a wrestling seminar, I'm like, I'm not giving any advice to these girls on how to wrestle, but I'll tell them how to be a star, and I'll tell them how to make it in the crazy world that is World Wrestling Entertainment, and and that's what I based it on. I didn't base it on my in-ring wrestling knowledge. I based it on the other things that are a part of wrestling.
And it seemed to have worked. It's worked for you. Was that your ultimate goal? You kind of made your way through the Diva search, and we know that's how you landed into the biz. But what was your goal growing up? What did you want to be? Did you want to be a veterinarian or just a model or a scientist? What was Maria?
When I was 3, my dad told me I could be anything I wanted to be, and I knew from a very small age that I always wanted to entertain. So it landed me in professional wrestling, which I never thought could happen because I thought that Lita and Trish were untouchable. I didn't think I would ever be able to get there. I didn't know about the independent circuit at the time, so I never even fathomed that I could make it into professional wrestling. I thought it was untouchable. But I knew I always wanted to entertain. I was a bikini model, and I was taking acting classes when I started the Diva search. I had quit everything. I had quit teaching dance class, being in dance class, and school because I knew that the one thing I wanted to do was entertain.
Wow. That's pretty ballsy just to abandon everything to go for your dreams there. What was the family's perspective? Were they supportive of this big dream that you had?
Always. My mom used to drive me to bikini contests when I was 17 years old, so I could do a bikini contest in a bar because you couldn't be in a bar until you were 18. So my mom would drive me in the middle of the night. We would go do bikini contests, and that was how I first started modeling. I was a bikini model from the time I was 14 years old. So I may not have paid my dues in a wrestling ring before I made it to World Wrestling Entertainment, but I have driven 9 hours to get paid no money just to compete in a bikini contest. So when it comes to that, I've certainly done it. I've starved. I've done all kinds of things for the business that is entertainment. But I loved every moment of it. It's given me a lot of great opportunities, and I wouldn't change anything. If I would have known about the independent wrestling circuit, I probably would have gotten into it, but I had no idea about it.
Wow. And let me ask you that. You speak on, knowing what it takes to be a star, all the travel just to show up on stage. What is it there some kind of inner confidence that you just were built in? Was it the way you were raised or whatever? Because I can only imagine to go up on a bikini contest, not that I have ever attempted to do so, but that's just you're leaving yourself out there vulnerable. Do you have any fears of that? Or at the time, maybe not now, but then?
I am the most insecure person on the planet, still to this day. I think it's because of that insecurity that I've always wanted to fight against it. I've always been insecure. When I was little and I was starting to go to agencies, they always told me I was too fat and too short. At the time, I weighed 96 pounds and I was 5'5". So I definitely wasn't too fat. I was definitely too short, but I find it hilarious because that's always the thing of, you must be so confident because you're in those little outfits. It's because I'm so insecure that I'm in those little outfits. It's that fighting against what your body is telling you not to do, what your mind is like. Why are you out there in such little clothing? It makes it an adrenaline rush, and it makes it more fun.
That's fair enough. What about the people close around you? I've seen through Twitter some Twitter pictures. It looks like you have a brother, Mike. How are they with you? You seem to be okay with the little bitty clothes and the bikinis. How are they with it?
My dad, when I was doing Playboy, he's like, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to see it. I don't ever want to talk about it. So me and my father have never talked about the fact that I've done Playboy. It's so funny. My brother could care less. I've dressed crazy since I was a little girl. My mom used to buy the little outfits for me. She used to go with me to the stripper stores, to the bikini modeling contest, to all of it. She never cared. I have a little sister. When my little sister was still in high school and I was at WWE, she asked me to not dress too sexy when I would come to her high school event, so I had to dress down. Mike doesn't care. Earlier today, I was getting ready to go out. I was standing in my bra and panties and holding my purse, and I'm like, should I go out like this? And he's like, yeah, go out like that. I was like, no, I don't think so. I think I need some clothes. He doesn't care. He knows what he's getting into, just like I know what I'm getting into with him and his little unders that he wears out in front of a million people on TV and thousands in the audience.
He is a brave man, much braver than me. I don't know if I can handle, the all the eyes, you're practically you're out and about, But you know what? There's different things for different people. I don't know. Caribbean Playboy might be able to handle it, but he's probably too much looking at himself, I would imagine.
Hey, I appreciate that Mike is cool and confident enough to have her do that. That's what guys got to do. You, as a guy, you should want other guys to be like, man, that's a lucky dude right there. And I think, everybody.
That's kind of how he looks at it. But at the same time, if I was a partier, if I was going out every night and, was drinking all night long and everything like that, and I always wore skimpy clothes, that might be a little different. But I am a homebody. I barely go out, and when I do, it's for a damn good reason. I love to just relax, and if I'm not working, I just want to sit at home, and I like cooking, and I'm not a crazy girl, and there was a very short period of time where I was, but pretty much my whole life, I've just been a homebody. So if I was crazy and scantily clad, he might have an issue, but because I'm so, calm, cool, and collected and staying at home, I don't think he really cares.
Fair enough. Are you a good cook?
You'll have to ask Mike that. I'm almost home, I swear.
I have to ask because you have so many different things that you've done since you left the WWE. You had the music and you've done some acting and I believe there was the perfume line and a DVD line or something like that. So, maybe a cookbook, Maria Kanellis cookbook next. I don't know.
I've got a couple books in the works right now. I do have to say that. One of them is a comic book. Cookbook isn't quite in the works yet, but you never know. Me and Mike are working on a book together, which might be out in the next few years. I like to do different things. I learned how to sword fight last year, which was one of the most fun experiences of my entire life. I just like doing different things, so maybe a cookbook eventually.
You talk about the sword fighting. I was going to ask you about that. I don't know. I randomly came across this fantasy women's battle. Is that where the sword fighting comes into play?
Yes, it is.
what is there anything? I know it's. I'm looking on the website now. It looks like it's in the pre-registration period here. Is there anything that you could tell, or is the? I saw the video where it looks like every woman for himself. Is it the moving? I'm trying to put two and two together here. I'm a little slow.
Well, it's 16 women, eight battles to start with. Then it goes down. It's like a bracket system. And we are hoping that it ends up being a television show. If not, it's going to end up being an online gaming system to where you can vote for your favorite characters. And whoever you vote for wins, and whoever you don't vote for loses, or lives or dies, however you want to look at it. It is
nice.
amazing. I've never sweat so much in my entire life, no matter if it's wrestling or running or spin class, as I did when I was sword fighting. I made that costume that I wore in it, and they laughed at me hysterically, but whatever costume they put me in originally, I was like, hell no. So I just made my own costume.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And everybody, all the ladies have a character, it seems. So what's your character in this?
I am a demon.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I said okay.
Yeah, I'm a demon, Proserpine. I'm the archdemoness of hell, and I wield an axe. It's fantastic. Like everything I didn't get to do in WWE, I get to do now, and I've always wanted to be bad because I think I'm bad at heart, and so I get to play the bad girl.
Darius, I watched the video. You know, I watched it like 2 or 3 times, I gotta say it. You know, I've never seen a demon huntress or, you know, as hot as her. I would get decapitated just so I could, you know, say that I was that close to Maria. I'm just saying.
You got your head up.
Oh, Lord. I guess that's a compliment. Well,
5 minutes from
go
home.
ahead, Shane.
Like literally 5 minutes from home.
Okay, no problem. When I tweeted a link a couple minutes ago, you know, somebody responded real quick, and Darius had brought up her name earlier. Jessica Havoc wants to know why you suspended her from Crossfire.
Why did I suspend her?
Yes.
Because it was the match was over, the match was finished, and she proceeded to give the girl another devastating move, and it was uncalled for. The girl was obviously out of it, and it was disrespectful. It's my rules down at Crossfire. I'm the creative director down there. I bring the girls in, and I can take them out, and I know she showed up in May at the last show, but I'm going to be there in August, so I can't wait to see her then.
Absolutely. And for those who aren't familiar, can you give us a glimpse, I guess, at Crossfire Revives Wrestling? Can you tell us a little bit more in detail about that?
Crossfire Wrestling is a great promotion. It's held in the Nashville Fairgrounds. Nashville Fairgrounds has a huge wrestling history. TNA used to run there. Guys, a long time ago ran there. I mean, Mick Foley's been in that building a long time ago. I see photos of him. He was a baby when he was wrestling there originally. Great guys down there. We have so many different talents that came in, and I'm sorry if I lose you. I'm going up a hill right now. I will call you as soon as I enter my house if I lose you. But we've had Chris Masters, Carlito, Finley, so many guys that came out. It's always a great show. We have 200 people that are coming every single time we put on shit. And because there wasn't, and eventually we'll have a ladies championship down there.
All right. And the next show is in August?
The next show is in August. I believe it's August 7th.
All right. Do y'all have a website for that? For the promotion yet? CrossfireWrestlingLLC.com, I think. Okay. We'll tweet it out there.
But if you look up Crossfire Wrestling Nashville, it'll come right up.
All right. But going back to the, you and Mike both in ROH and everything, and you are now the first lady of ROH. What comes with that title? Is she there?
Let me flip back. Nope, she's gone. So we'll get her back here in a second. Here, she said she'll give us a call back as soon as she arrives in the house. She warned us, so
yeah,
I will have to keep my eye on here. Make sure we get her back here. Talking to Maria, and that's all I can call her. I can call her First Lady. I can call her Maria, but I will not finish out. Canellis. I could say it now. She's not, I'm not introducing her, and I'm not speaking to her, so there's no reason for me to butcher it. So we're okay right now. But Maria, the First Lady of ROH, formerly of WWE, Playboy, and Celebrity Apprentice. She's kind of done it all, as you mentioned. I'm not sure if
the website is crossfirellc.vze.com. So crossfirellc.v as in Victor, Z as in zebra, E as in egg.com.
Perfect. I could check that out here because I was looking for it. I saw it on a fan site, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" But
you got Bret Hart right on the front page.
Very nice.
Now, I have to ask her this because, I'm pretty sure all things will be cleared up by then, but Jessica Havoc's facing Jillian Hall. And if we've been watching the news wire today, Jillian Hall was, domestic violence thing. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the wrong person was suspended here. I don't know. And I'm going to let you tackle the Boy Divas question.
No problem. I planned on that. No problem.
Absolutely. And for those who have a question, of course, at Hit the Ropes on Twitter, you can send them there. We're keeping an eye on there. Lots of questions coming in. We'll try and get to them all. Time provision. If you want to call in, she is open for questions. Of course, we have to get her back on the line, but when we do, when she calls back in, the number to call, 646-929-2442, 646-929-2442, and this will be put in to words. You'll be able to see the interview with the June 15th issue of the Color Commentator. I believe it's issue number 6, if I can keep count. So this interview will be there, so if you want to get your questions not only on air but in the magazine. Shane, I actually ordered last month's issue for it, and interesting enough, there's apparently 2 sizes, and I ordered the size that was 2 sizes too small. So,
what is it, underwear?
Underwear, magazines, it's all the same thing. It's pretty small, but it looks pretty good. It's pretty good. So I had to get a preview for when we eventually get this into a store near everyone of what it would. And it feels good to have it in your hands. So, folks, be on the lookout for that.
She just tweeted that she'll be back in a minute. So,
all right, perfect. See, we keep an eye on the Twitter, folks. So, if you have a question, pop it on over. But yeah. So, speaking of that, you're on the line once again, Miss Maria.
Hello there.
Maria's back.
I was just talking about you.
Oh, I hope it was good things.
Yeah, of course.
Our other co-host isn't here, so it could be nothing but good things.
What'd you say?
Are you at home now?
I'm at home. I have Mike here.
Okay.
And he's making sad faces.
You turn the Red Sox off.
I turned the Red Sox off. He's very upset with me.
All right. Well, now that he's in the picture, we got this very important tweet, that I just have to ask. It's from Rick Cataldo, former WSU's The Boy Diva, and he wants to know if you would allow him to borrow Mr. Mike Bennett. I don't know for how long, but Rick Cataldo wants to borrow Mike Bennett.
Oh, my.
Borrow me for what?
Well, he didn't exactly say for what.
I don't know if it's to mow his lawn. I don't know. It was, will she let me borrow her man? That's all I got. So I'm just repeating what I was tweeting.
Well, if I have some details, then possibly I'll be able to answer that question.
The price is right.
If the price is right, I'll sell him for pretty much anything, as long as I get like a finder's fee or anything.
All right, there you go. That's the price is right. Okay.
That would be a first on Hit the Ropes Radio. We've never made a transaction of bodies, but we've done many things. But that's all right. We'll take it where we get it. But the Prodigy, you're on the line here. We're happy to have you. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
The pleasure is all ours. We're I've got to ask you where your head's at. There was a big bout recently, and it didn't quite go your way there. What's in the mix for the Prodigy and ROH after the Four Corners match that the potential World Heavyweight title would have been in your grasp had you just not gotten that victory, kind of stolen by Roderick Strong?
Kinda.
It was definitely stolen by Roderick Strong. I had the plan all set, and I was ready to win, and he tossed me out of the ring. But as far as I go, I think they said it perfectly during the match. I think it was Kevin Kelly who said it. I was the only one in the ring who has yet to receive a world title shot. So I will be at best in the world, and I will have a live microphone. And I do not have a match, but I will have a live microphone, so who knows what I'm going to say. But that will be addressed at Best of the World.
And before you get to Best of the World, I believe that, I might be lying, I think that's on June 15th, but...
the 24th, I believe.
24th, okay, so I was lying. I do that from time to time.
But okay.
Let me ask you this, because you came in, there was a lot of fanfare around you. You and Brutal Bob, you busted on the scene. You said right away you're going to be the TV champ, and then boom, you're going to be world champion. What happened?
I did. What happened? Well, some might say my ego got in my way. Some might say Steve Corino got in my way. Some might say Jay Lethal got in my way. But I strongly believe that if you don't have the cockiness in yourself when you first make a splash anywhere you're at, then no one's going to take you seriously. Did I do exactly what I said I was going to do? No. But as far as world titles or some sort of championship, I promised I was going to have one. And I still plan on it. But in the meantime, I built a bigger and better crew. I had Brutal Bob, and then I acquired Maria. So
acquired?
Who knows?
Acquired.
We'll just pretend that part didn't happen.
Well, I did sell him earlier.
Yeah,
so.
He sold me to the Diva Boy or whatever his name is.
I don't think the Boy Diva has any interest in Maria. Sorry.
It doesn't sound like it.
But you speak on, I won't say your choice of word, but bringing in Maria here late last year, and it kind of seems like an attitude changed about you, a demeanor, if you will. What has her specifically coming in to by your side in ROH done for you?
I think the biggest thing is to help me see the big picture. So much as she's taught me the stuff on the inside that most people don't see, the mindset, the stay hungry, and she's the one who's really made me I think my mind has changed in the fact that I want more than when I first started. Brutal Bob helped me to a certain extent. Now with her, it's like I need to see the bigger picture and what I'm going to do here and what I'm going to do there. And if I want something, I have to go take it. And I think she's been the best thing for me in wrestling, period.
Man, what is this thing about Maria? First, Jessica Havoc's been changed. Now, the Prodigy's been changed. Hopefully, you're going to put a change on me, and, our magazine will replace WWE on shelf. I don't know what it is, but it seems like you have the golden touch.
I don't know about that. Sometimes I think I have too big of a mouth. I don't know. I think sometimes I just tell people what they don't see in themselves. I can see a lot of things in people that they don't necessarily see in themselves or maybe aren't willing to admit, or maybe they're just afraid of success. And when I saw Jessica in the ring for the very first time, I just knew. I mean, she has this aura about her. And then when I met Mike, I knew backstage that I wanted him to be in my life for a very long time. I'd never seen him wrestle, but I knew he had something. And I see that in a lot of people. There's actually a funny story down in Ohio Valley Wrestling with me and Kennedy. And, it was Paul Heyman's story, and he said it before, where I just said, why doesn't he come back and repeat Kennedy? And that just became his thing. I just say things sometimes, and sometimes I have a big mouth, but sometimes it works. So maybe I just talk a lot, and some things actually work. But I love wrestling. I love the people that are in it. I love the people that do love wrestling and are in it for the right reasons. So when I see that, it just motivates me even more. And a lot of times other people's motivation and dedication makes me a better person and better in wrestling. So I was almost completely done with wrestling until I met Mike, and then it was just like he brought me back in.
Wow. And did you, because I read on Wikipedia, which we know everything is true, something about creative, did you have creative, because you just said that you basically made Kennedy there. Did you have
I did not make creative? Him. He made himself.
Well, I mean, you did really.
Don't even put that out there. Don't even put that out there. But go ahead.
Well, I do have a blog in our magazine about rumors I'm starting, so that'll probably be the next rumor I start.
Oh, please don't.
I'm kidding. Kind of. But did you have a creative role where, given input, or is that just made up on Wikipedia?
Creative role where?
I believe it was the OVW. I could be lying again. I do that from time to time.
So do I. No, I was able to say what I wanted to do down there. I was able to write for myself. I wrote for myself when I was at WWE too. I've always been a creative person, so if I had ideas, I used those ideas. I put them out there and seen what happened. A lot of times I would preface the idea with, I don't know if this is stupid or not, or maybe I'm just dumb, and then I would say my idea, and sometimes it would stick, even though that I thought maybe it was the right thing to do, but didn't know how they were going to take it. So I was always a person that would just throw stuff out there. The whole idea with me and Santino was I was standing there with the head writer for Raw, and we were kind of throwing people back and forth, and I was like, what about Santino? And then that stuck. So those things just kind of happen. Like I said, I just talk a lot, and sometimes it works.
Fair enough. Go ahead,
All right. We got a couple questions on Twitter. This one coming from Rob Smith, who's at Mr. Media UK. Now, Maria's probably, I know from your time at WWE, you've already done this, but this is more to Mike. He would like to know if you guys would like to come over to the UK and do some indie shows on that side.
Yeah, I would love to. The furthest I've ever done anything out of the country is Canada. So for me, it's always a learning experience. So if I can head over to the UK or head over to Japan or any of these places, I'd love to go because I'm constantly learning, and you can't do any better than going to a different country and learning a different style or from a different person or seeing how those fans react as opposed to the fans in the States. I'd love to go over there.
And I would just love to go on vacation with my boyfriend. So if there's anybody over there that wants to hire us to come on over, we've already had a couple bites here and there of different people that want to bring us over, and it's just a timing thing. So, I mean, we would love to, and if those opportunities arise, it's great.
Okay. Is there any specific place that you guys, well, Maria, you'd like to go vacation with your boyfriend at, and Mike, you'd like to actually go wrestle?
Well, I would love to go to Greece. That's number one on my list. And then I've always loved London. It's one of my favorite cities in the entire world. And then, of course, going back to Japan. I loved being over there. I loved wrestling over there. I love the culture. It's just a great place to be. So any of those places, Mexico is another one that I've worked at before. I love the crowd down there. There's such vibrant, wonderful people down in Mexico. So I say bring on any place, and it'll be a brand new experience because I'd be experiencing with someone else. I know, I'm a nerd. But that's how I feel.
I think for me personally, probably Japan, only because I was never really a big Japanese wrestling fan ever until I started with Ring of Honor. And they really, and I'm still not a huge fan because I'm still kind of learning about it, and I'm still learning about the guys that go over and everything. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know everything about Japanese wrestling when I really don't. So I think the fact of just immersing myself in that culture and that completely different atmosphere and being totally out of my element, because when I started with Ring of Honor, I was totally out of my element, and now I'm finally finding my groove. I feel that would be the same way if I went over to Japan.
Okay, cool. This comes from Chris Kelly at H2H Crelly. For Maria, what is your thoughts on why wrestling fans seem to attack female wrestlers on Twitter more often than the male wrestlers?
I'm not a male, so I don't really know how often they attack. But I really think it's, I mean, who does guys really want to see and really want to talk to and really want to, who knows, see their feet, see their boobs, see their legs, whatever it is. I mean, we get attacked because it's like you're 5 years old and you punch the girl you like at school. So if they can make a comment on Twitter, it's like being that 5-year-old boy that doesn't really know how to ask a girl out, so he just makes a stupid comment instead. I take all of those things into consideration. I do respond sometimes, and sometimes I'm not the nicest human in the world because people don't have all the facts when they're making comments on Twitter. And sometimes I just block people. But I accept all publicity because all publicity is good publicity. When they stop talking, that means that they don't care anymore.
Okay. Now, you mentioned, sometimes you respond. I remember it was a couple weeks ago, Mike, I saw your timeline just blowing up with the whole gay marriage and all that stuff. And I know you guys support no hate and all that. What was your thoughts on that day with, those people you were going back and forth with?
My thoughts on that day, I think I said to Maria actually, was that ignorance is bliss, because the people that were responding to me were so ignorant and they had no idea what they're talking about. The whole gay marriage and gay rights is near and dear to me because one of my best friends is gay, and I just think I'm a huge history buff, and I'm huge into the civil rights movement. I'm a huge Martin Luther King fan, and for our country to be going through something similar with gay rights and gay marriage, to me it seems so ignorant in the fact that I live in this country and I love this country, but sometimes I hate the fact that I live here because the people here can be so dumb and so uneducated, and to listen to them say that when all I do is post a picture of supporting gay marriage, and they have to bombard my Twitter with the fact that they disapprove of it. I'm not preaching this on anyone. I'm telling people where I stand, and the fact that people attack me for that really just drove me nuts. And like I said, it just made me believe that ignorance is truly bliss.
All right.
I didn't know that about you. That's why I love doing these things.
Yeah, I'm all for, I'm all for, be with whoever the heck you want to be with, If gay people want to get married and they want to see, how bad, regular people are when they're married, then all be.
Hey. Easy.
I'm sorry, Darius is married. I'm sorry. All right. One other question from Chris Kelly again. Mike, is there anybody from, they always ask these questions. Is there anybody from the WWE or TNA that you would love to face, and why?
Oh, God, there's so many. I've faced a lot of guys in TNA already with, Christopher Daniels and Mr. Anderson and stuff, but as WWE, I'd love to face CM Punk. He's the best on the roster right now. He comes from Ring of Honor. The guy's just awesome. Best mic work there. He can go in the ring. Him and Dolph Ziggler, just because I think Dolph's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the best. Dolph is the best bumper in the WWE at this point right now. So
he's Mr. Perfect.
Pretty much. Yeah. Darius, say we have a caller?
Yes, we have a caller. Do you guys mind taking a call?
Not at all.
All right, from the 408, you are on the line with the Prodigy and Maria.
Hey there, guys. How's it going?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm a bit tired because here in England it's like 22 in the morning. But I had to call in because a few weeks ago Mark Madden made comments about ROH, saying how there's no stars in that company. Now, as a fan, I find him to be stupid and out of touch. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Again, I think I need to stop talking so much on Twitter. But again, that's another thing that really struck a nerve with me, to sit there and say there's no stars, because I believe back in the days when Punk and Joe and Nigel and Brian were all in Ring of Honor, people were saying they were nobodies and they were never going to be stars. And I believe Mark Madden specifically said that Daniel Bryan couldn't draw money if you dipped him in glue and dragged him through a bank. So, and then the fact that now he's on top of the WWE, it's like, I don't really get it. And to say that there's no stars, yeah, he said there's no CM Punk and there's no Samoa Joe, and he's absolutely right. Those guys are on to bigger and better things. But there's Kevin Steens, and there's Mike Bennett, and there's Eddie Edwards, and there's Davey Richards, and we're setting a whole new era of wrestling, and we're building a company that CM Punk and Samoa Joe helped set a base for, and now we have a bigger stage to perform on. So it really did strike a nerve. And the fact that they said we have no stars, and Maria is in the company, and Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas and Jay Lethal, it was just really a slap in the face, and it just seemed to me had no base to what he said.
Sometimes I think it's funny. I think people should go back and read timelines from the 2004 and 2005 era of Ring of Honor. At that time, they criticized every match, every move a guy did, every character, every guy there. And now people are saying that's the golden era. Just like years from now, they're going to say now's the golden era of Ring of Honor. It's just how it goes. People like to complain. But what they're seeing on television right now is better than it's ever been.
Yeah. I mean, as a fan, I sit here and I can watch Ring of Honor for 2 hours. Yeah, I cannot watch WWE or TNA because that insults me. But for Mark Madden to say that there's no stars, that guy is just so delusional, and from what it appears, he's just jumping on the cool wagon. Because if he sits down and watches it, he'll see they're actual stars like you two, like Kevin Steen, and that guy needs to get his head out his backside and watch wrestling and stop kissing the backside of WWE-TNA.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think we're building stars, and that's the point. Yeah. Is that stars are being built in Ring of Honor every single day, and they'll be saying the same thing about us that they said about Punk and Joe and Brian a few years from now.
And as a fan, I fully agree. I think, Mike, you will be a star one day in the E or TNA. Maria, you are already a star, but I'm pretty sure one day you'll be back there very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling.
Okay, good night.
All right, go get some sleep. It's like 2 a.m. over there, dude.
Awesome.
I mean, I love what the British guys call it. You know, I wish I could have a British accent. I've said this before.
They just sound so much more intelligent than us.
A black Jamaican with a British accent probably doesn't work too well, Shane.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, but most people don't even realize I'm Jamaican, so whatever. What was my question? Oh, yeah. What is the, you know, the vibe in the locker room? You know, because the last couple times you guys had, you know, the whole issue with the pay-per-views and all that, was everybody still upbeat, or, you know, what was the vibe in the locker room after these problems that you guys have had recently?
You have to know that it's a company that's building. It's a company that's growing. This last TV taping that we had was the best TV taping that I think that they've ever had. I mean, seeing just a little bit of the footage back was incredible. You will not believe the footage going forward. It's amazing. Everybody's so willing to learn and willing to grow that whatever, stuff happens. And you move on from there. Because if you don't move on, you're never going to get any better. You're just going to always dwell on the past. Whatever, things happen, pay-per-views didn't make it out, but it doesn't matter. The most important thing is the wrestlers and the people that are there busting their asses every single night. And they're the ones that are putting on the show, and they're the ones that you're going to see in these up-and-coming TVs that really put on a tremendous show.
And I'd be lying to say nobody's frustrated, because you're going out and you're saying, we're going to give you this product. It's like winning the Super Bowl and no one sees it. So you're like, well, we want everyone to see this. But I think it's more so the fact that as wrestlers we say, well, we can't control this. What we can control is what we put on in the ring. And there are still, as far as Border Wars goes, I think there was close to 2,000 people in that arena. So we said to ourselves, there's still 2,000 people that paid their hard-earned money to come see us do what we do. So we're not going to phone it in, and we're still going to go out there and put on the best Ring of Honor show that they've seen.
And along those same lines, to talk about the difficulties with the iPay-per-view, what's been, your feeling with the transition? Because I believe, Mike, you were there, I guess, at the tail end of the original, or I wouldn't say original, there's been a bunch of owners, but the last ownership and the Sinclair ownership. Have you noticed, what have been the benefit that you guys have seen from that transition?
I think more so we have a big-time feel to us. They treat us good. When I first got signed, Kerry Silkin was still under ownership, and again, he's one of the best bosses I've ever worked for. So, but then now we have Joe Koff, and Joe loves the product, and Sinclair loves the product, and they're putting all their efforts into this one company because they see something special. I know personally, I can't speak for anyone else in the locker room, but I know personally I've enjoyed every bit of the transition. I've been promised everything I've been promised, and it's been a great transition. We've done shows in places I've never done shows in. I got to do WrestleMania weekend down in Miami, which wrestled Lance Storm, which was a great honor. I got to go to Canada and wrestle Lance Storm again. The transition for me has been great.
Awesome. And we spoke to Maria before you came on about her basically transition to the world of professional wrestling. What about yourself? Were you also a big fan? How did you come into this crazy world?
Well, I was a fan when I was like 5 years old, and I used to wrestle with my best friend Eli in his basement. We wrestled the little wrestle dolls. He was Hogan, and I was Warrior. Or it might have been the other way around. I'm not really sure. But and then I stopped watching until I was like 13 or 14, and then I got hooked in the Attitude Era. And it was just one of those things where I knew I was going to do it. I said, this is what I'm going to do regardless. It's something like I felt I had known I was going to do all along, but I was just trying to put my finger on it. And then I finally did, and I legit, I know it's a storyline in Ring of Honor, but I was trained by Bob Evans. He was my first original trainer, and he trained me, and he's helped me get to places I never thought I could get. And then I started training with Steve Bradley, the Mofo. He was under development contract with WWE back in '98, I believe. He really inspired me to push my game. Bob trained me, and then Steve inspired me. And I've just done a lot of things in wrestling as far as training. I've gone down to OVW and trained with Rip Rogers. And then I came back home to Boston and trained with Spike Dudley. I've done seminars with guys. I'm always and constantly learning. But that was really my big break, was training with Eli in his basement.
All right. And Maria told us, growing up, she was the model. She was sneaking away in the middle of the night doing her contest. Was little Mike Prodigy? Were you always big and jacked? Were you the jock of high school, or did that come afterwards?
Oh God, no! I was not. I always played sports. I've always been an athlete because I love sports, but I was far from the jock. I think when I graduated, I was 150 pounds.
You was little.
I was a little. I didn't start really hitting the gym until my senior year, end of junior year, maybe senior year of high school. But I was still. I was not going to say I was picked on, because I was never really picked on in high school, but I was kind of a wrestling nerd in the fact that my entire high school career, I would wear wrestling shirts to school, and everyone would want to see what wrestling shirt I was going to wear. That was but I did play sports. I played basketball and I played soccer. I was always an athlete, but I was far from the jock. I was too far obsessed with wrestling to be a jock or to worry about what was going on in high school.
Wow. And those girls, in high school, who saw you as a 150-pound guy and everything, fast forward to 2010, and you're winning, you're in the top 75 wrestling bodies according to Muscle Men. So, there you go.
That was nice to hear. Yeah, it was. I get a lot of turned heads when I go home to my hometown, and people are like, "Oh, I graduated with you? Who are you?"
Were you like a hardcore wrestler fan? You say you're wearing different shirts every day. I mean, were you waiting in the parking lot after shows to get the autographs kind of fan?
No, not to that extent, because believe it or not, I have a very, outside of wrestling, I have a very shy personality, so that wasn't really me. I was obsessed in the sense of I could never miss a Monday night, I couldn't miss a Sunday night heat, I couldn't miss a pay-per-view. If my family was on vacation, I would make sure I was back in the hotel room to watch Monday Night Raw, or to watch Thursday Night SmackDown, or to watch Sunday Night Heat. Whatever show was on, if I couldn't miss it, and if I did, I had to tape it.
All right, fair enough. What are your thoughts on those hardcore fans that know where you're going to be before you know? Is that a good? Is it tone it down, or what's your thoughts on that? Being a star.
I think it's probably different for me than it is Maria. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's not dangerous and creepy, I don't have a problem with it. As long as if you're just a fan and you're borderline obsessed and you want to be at every event that I'm at, more power to you. But if you start getting dangerous and creepy, I'm gonna have to go away and be like, all right, dude.
What about you, Maria?
Well, probably the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me was a guy asked me for my socks in the airport when I needed them.
Wait a minute, socks?
My socks. He wanted my socks. Hey, I don't care. To each his own, as long as nobody's getting hurt. I don't care what your fetish is. But I need my socks when I'm in the airport, so please don't ask for my socks.
Duly noted.
There was one guy that literally showed up to every single signing I was at for about 6 months. That was a little creepy. But wow. I don't mind. I mean, if you're a fan, be a fan. I don't care as long as it doesn't get dangerous or hurtful and I'm not frightened. And when I'm at the airport, let me check my bags because I don't want to have to hold my dogs and my bags while I'm trying to sign something. So let me check my bags first, and then I'll come over and sign. I don't mind. If it wasn't for the fans, there'd be no show. So I always try and keep that in mind.
All right, that's good to hear. Everybody has a little bit different approach to your guys' position. So that's awesome. Now, we don't want to keep you guys on for too long here. We definitely appreciate the time here. 2012, you said, I've been watching the service announcements there. I've been trying to get my knowledge on. I really, really enjoyed, I believe it was episode 7, so just want to let you know that was very awesome. But you said it was your year. 2012 is your year. Obviously, ever since you walked into ROH, you've been talking about gold here, gold there. What is left to be done for 2012? We're about halfway, a little less than halfway done here.
There's still lots to be done. I think, honestly, truthfully, this is going to be my biggest year. By the end of the year, I'm going to make a splash inside, outside of wrestling. But there's lots to be done. We are building a company. As far as wearing the gold, I truthfully believe that by the end of the year, I will be, whether it be the TV title or the world title. There's lots of guys to get in the ring with, and Kevin Steen's definitely one of them. So I predict gold around my waist by the end of the year.
What about you, Maria? What's your goal for 2012?
Well, my biggest goal right now is I want to get in the ring with Sarah Del Rey. So she says she's the queen and I'm the first lady, so I figure why not have a match? And she's one of Ring of Honor's sweethearts, so of course I want that. Beyond that, I want to support my man. I mean, I came into Ring of Honor to do just that, to support my man and all of his goals and all of his dreams at Ring of Honor and beyond, and that's what I plan on doing. Outside of wrestling, I have shows in development, and I'm hoping to get the sword fighting project off the ground. I am a huge fan of the bench warmer cards that I've been working on, and I hope that just continues to explode and get bigger and better. I plan on furthering my education at some point in my life, and so I'm definitely looking at that. And watching my niece and nephew grow are a big goal for me this year, so I hope to get home a little bit more often.
What do you plan to go to school for? Go back to school?
Interior design.
Interior design. Nice. Yeah, all right. Well, do you all have upcoming bookings where all those super fans that we spoke about can come and stalk you for 6 months?
So they can stalk us there? What?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be at a PWS. There's too many letters.
Alphabet soup.
Coming up this weekend. I'm going to be at PWS in New Jersey. Where am I going? New Jersey. And then the week after that, I'm going to be at FWE, which is Family Wrestling Entertainment, and that's in New York. So I'm going to be there. And then after that, we have Ring of Honor.
Best in the world.
Best in the world.
June 24th. New York City.
New York City. And so we're going to be doing a live in-ring PSA there. Well, actually, I'm just going to stand there and look cute, and he's going to do a PSA. And then after that, you have a match with Lance coming up, the third time's the charm match. In Baltimore. June 29th. I'm going to see no dates.
And then Pittsburgh, Ring of Honor, June 30th. And that's it for June.
I hope the next time, Maria, you're just standing there looking cute, Eddie Edwards doesn't run into you or anything like that.
I cannot believe he hit me like that. That's just terrible.
That was uncalled for.
It was completely uncalled for.
You mentioned wrestling Sarah Del Rey, and I'm a big Sarah Del Rey fan, and you guys both have the ties to ROH. We haven't really seen much female wrestling in ROH, and quite some time. Is there a possibility that might be brought back? Do you happen to know?
Well, I know that Mia's there, and Mia wants wrestling, and I know I'm there, and I want wrestling too. Have you ever heard two girls just completely begging and pleading for something that they want? I'm sure eventually the boys at the top are going to listen. So we're trying. We're definitely trying. I know it's in the works. It'll happen. But right now we have so many great guys to build that it's okay if, we're not wrestling. She's got her group, and I've got mine to take care
of. All right. Cool deal. Darius, do you have any other questions? Don't want to keep them
No, I'm going to let these kind folks off the hook here, and I know that you've got the Twitter handles and Facebook and all that for the stalkers can find you. Where's the best way to get a hold of the Prodigy and the First Lady?
For me, it's my Twitter. I think I check it every 2 seconds. It's at ROH Mike Bennett.
And then mine. And then mine is at Maria L. Kanellis. No, I'm not verified. I don't know if I'm going to get verified. Too many people ask me if I'm going to. But it's Maria L. Kanellis, or my Facebook is official Maria Kanellis. And then you can watch our videos on YouTube at Prodigy Superstar. And please catch us not this coming Monday, but the Monday after. We're going to be on AfterBuzzTV.com, and we will be discussing Monday Night Raw after Monday Night Raw. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com, not this coming Monday, but the Monday after, and you will see us there talking all about WWE Monday Night Raw.
All right, 2 weeks. Mark it on your calendars. Well, we greatly appreciate this going in the 6th issue of the Color Commentator here, which we're working to get into stores. I'm trying to get some of that Maria rub here and some of that star power here. So as you've blown up everybody you've apparently come across, we look for big things. And, again, we appreciate your time. We hope you have a great night, guys.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Maria and the Prodigy, Mike Bennett, big time. Shane, I think he wasn't lying. I think there's big things popping for him. He's always in the title picture. He hasn't quite grasped goal yet, but he's always just there. So he's waiting for that breakthrough moment. And if he stomps a mud hole and Lance Storm walks it dry, so to speak, he may just get that push he needs to make it to that upper level.
Hey, when the guy first came out, before the Top Prospects, tournament, and which he won, I was like, I see good things with this Mike Bennett dude. And my stance hasn't changed, So I've been pushing for him in ROH, much like I've been pushing for Ziggler in the WWE. Ziggler seems to finally be, might be on that upward track. So perhaps 2012 is the year for both of these guys.
Huh? I won't be mad at him. All right, another issue of not the magazine, this is a radio show. I'm getting my wires mixed here, but another episode of Hit the Ropes. You can check us out at thecolorcommentator.com. You can follow us at Hit the Ropes, or check out our YouTube channel, which all our past interviews, most of them are up there. I got some catching up to do. At just Google or search Hit the Ropes. Shane, anything for the peeps who will be catching this in the archives?
No. I was gonna flirt with Maria, but Mike's there.
It's pretty.
I decided to keep it on the wraps.
Yeah, you had some subtle hints in there, but nothing too serious. Although she did say her man was confident with her swagger.
Right.
So,
right. So I that's part of the reason why I said, you know what, I'm going to throw in a little flirty line here, because the dude is confident, and that's what you got to be. She gave me the perfect setup when she said, you ever had, when two girls are begging for something? I was about to be like, yeah, two girls are begging for me all the time.
Oh, Lord, you should have laid it on the line. Maybe you could have, he's a great guy, but maybe you could have walked right underneath and stolen Maria from his grasp. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm not in the Muscle Men magazine, so it's all good.
Yeah. Maybe next time. Maybe if we get around two, we'll get an opportunity here. But again, we're going to wrap this up. We thank you all for tuning in to the archives or iTunes or however you're listening. Again, thecolorcommentator.com, where we'll be having this interview will be released on June 15th, and every 15th after that, there'll be a new issue out, and we're hoping to come to a store near you. Until then, we'll see you at Hit the Ropes on Twitter. Have a great night.